You weren't meant to find this video until now. What if your entire life, your job, your relationships, your bank account, wasn't just something happening to you, but something being projected by you? Sounds like sci-fi, right? But quantum physics, ancient wisdom, and cutting-edge neuroscience now whisper the same truth. You're not a passenger. You're the pilot. You just forgot where the controls were. This isn't a feel-good pep talk. It's the real story behind the frequency of thought and why most people unknowingly use it against themselves. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the truth. You'll feel it. And when you do, everything changes. If you're ready, or say it in the comments right now. I'm ready. Let's dive in. Part 1. The illusion of the outside world. What if the world you live in isn't the one you think it is? Let's start with a moment everyone has experienced, even if they didn't know what it was. You think of someone, and they call. You feel uneasy walking into a room, and later discover a hidden truth. You say, I have a bad feeling about this, and it turns out you were right. Coincidence? Maybe. But what if it wasn't? What if those moments, those tiny glitches in the matrix, were clues? Clues pointing to a fundamental truth that's been right in front of us the whole time? That reality isn't something happening to us. It's something happening through us. The programming begins. Childhood conditioning. From the moment you're born, you're fed a story. This is your name. This is your body. This is the world. And this is how it works. You don't question it. Why would you? The people telling you these things, your parents, teachers, culture, are the same people you trust for food, love, and safety. But what they're really giving you is code, belief systems, thought patterns, definitions of what's real, what's possible, and what's true. You don't choose these programs. You inherit them. And by the time you're 7 or 8 years old, your identity, your internal operating system, is almost entirely installed. No wonder we grow up chasing things that don't fulfill us. We're running someone else's software. Hard science, soft truths, Lanza, and biocentrism. Let's hit pause on the self-help and plug into science. Dr. Robert Lanza, one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people, proposed a theory that sent shockwaves through both the scientific and spiritual communities. Biocentrism. It's the idea that consciousness is not a byproduct of the universe. It's the creator of it. In simple terms, the world doesn't exist independently of the observer. It exists because of the observer. Let that sink in. That chair you're sitting on, the colors on your screen, the sound of my voice, all of it, only real because you are experiencing it. It's not just philosophy, it's quantum physics. The moment we observe subatomic particles, they behave differently. They collapse into reality because we're looking. That means you're not a tiny creature inside a vast, uncaring universe. You're the lens through which the universe becomes real. The Truman Show principle. Let's use a pop culture metaphor, the Truman Show. Truman Burbank lives inside a giant reality TV set. Every part of his life, from his job to his friends to his morning coffee, is designed, scripted, and watched. He thinks he's free, but he's not. Here's the plot twist. We're all Truman, except the set isn't built by directors in a booth. It's built by your beliefs, your culture, your subconscious programming. And like Truman, you have two choices. 1. Keep living in the illusion and call it life. 2. Wake up, walk off the set, and begin creating your own world. But to do that, you need to break the spell. You need to realize reality isn't outside you. It's projected from inside you. The projection metaphor, your mind as a movie projector. Think of your mind like a projector. Whatever is loaded into it, your thoughts, memories, beliefs, gets projected out onto the screen of your life. Most people try to change their movie by scratching at the screen. They try to change their job, their partner, their circumstances. But here's the catch. The screen isn't the source, it's the result. Want to change the film? You have to go into the projector room. You have to change the reel. In this case, that reel is your internal frequency. Reality as frequency, the vibration you forgot you were emitting. Everything in the universe vibrates. Science confirms this. Atoms vibrate, light vibrates, sound vibrates. So do your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. They emit frequencies. And those frequencies don't just stay inside your skull. They interact with the energy field around you. It's like tuning a radio. If you're tuned to the "I'm not good enough" frequency, you're going to pick up experiences that validate that signal. Not because life is cruel, but because you're vibrating at that station. Want to experience love? Tune to love. Want to experience abundance? Tune to abundance. The universe is not personal, it's responsive. It reflects the frequency you're on. And right now, whether you know it or not, you're always broadcasting. The delusion of objectivity. We love to believe in objectivity, that there's one reality, one truth, one world. But every person experiences life differently. Give 10 people the same news headline, and you'll get 10 different reactions. Give 10 people the same opportunity, and you'll see 10 different outcomes. Why? Because it's never the external event. It's the internal perception of it. The field doesn't work with facts. It works with frequencies. If you change your lens, the world behind it changes too. Why most people never see this? If this is true, if reality is a reflection, not a cause, why doesn't everyone see it? Because the system doesn't want you to. Let's be blunt. A person who believes their thoughts create reality is powerful. A person who believes they must obey, submit, and conform is manageable. So from a young age, you're trained to ignore your inner world. You're taught to be logical, be realistic, stop dreaming, fit in, do what you're told. And somewhere along the way, your inner world becomes muted. You stop listening to it, and reality stops reflecting your truth and starts reflecting your fears. The turning point, the day you realize you're creating it all. Every journey of transformation begins with one moment, not the moment you get the money or the love or the success, but the moment you realize, I am not a victim of reality, I'm the author of it. This is not arrogance, it's awareness. It doesn't mean bad things won't happen. It means you no longer give them your power. You start asking deeper questions. Why did I attract this? What part of me is vibrating at this frequency? What belief am I broadcasting without knowing it? You stop scratching at the screen and start changing the real. Real-world application, from theory to transformation. Let's make this practical. Next time something frustrates you, a rude person, a rejection, a setback, try this. Pause. Take a breath. Don't react. Instead ask, what is this showing me about my inner world? Maybe you fear rejection, so life gives you more of it until you release that fear. Maybe you believe people can't be trusted, so you keep attracting situations that prove it. Again, not because the world is out to get you, but because it's trying to show you what's already in you. Every external trigger is an internal teacher. Conclusion, why this is the foundation of all transformation. Before we go deeper into thought frequency, subconscious reprogramming, and quantum intention, we have to lock this in. Reality is a reflection. You are the source. If you can accept this, not just intellectually but emotionally, then everything else you learn in this series will actually work. Because otherwise, you'll keep trying to change the mirror instead of changing what it's reflecting. So ask yourself, what story have I been telling about the world? Is it empowering me or limiting me? What if I wrote a new one, starting now? You don't need permission. You don't need proof. You just need presence. In the next part, we'll dive into what this frequency actually is and why it's not just a metaphor, but a literal language that your reality understands. Until then, drop in the comments. I'm ready to rewrite the code because part 2 is where we hand you the keyboard. Part 2, the quantum field, your hidden operating system. It's not the world that's broken. It's the interface you're using. Cold open, breaking the illusion of the material world. Take a moment and look around. What do you see? A chair? A wall? A screen? Maybe your hands. Now ask yourself, are those things solid? Science says no. They're not actually made of matter the way you think. They're made of energy, vibrating at specific frequencies. Atoms are 99.9999999% empty space. And the rest? Probability, potential. So what's holding it all together? You, or more specifically, your observation, your awareness. Welcome to the quantum field, the hidden operating system behind all reality. And today, we're not just talking about it, we're going to teach you how to interact with it. Scene. Imagine a universe made of Wi-Fi. If the visible world is your phone, the quantum field is the invisible Wi-Fi signal that powers it. You can't see it, but you know when you're connected and when you're not. The quantum field works the same way. It's a seamless, intelligent matrix of energy that responds not to your words, not even your actions, but to your frequency. This is where everything happens. Ideas, synchronicities, miracles, tragedies, all filtered through the invisible energy blueprint behind matter. The basics. What is the quantum field, really? So let's define it simply. The quantum field is a field of infinite energy and potential existing beyond space and time, containing every possible version of reality, constantly in motion, responding to observation and emotion. Think of it like an ocean. Every drop in the ocean is connected. There's no separation. Now imagine your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions as pebbles dropped into that ocean. Every ripple you make affects the entire field. This isn't philosophy, it's quantum mechanics. When particles aren't observed, they exist in superposition, multiple states at once. Only when they're observed do they collapse into a single form. So when you focus on an outcome with clarity and emotion, you collapse infinite possibilities into one, and that one becomes your reality. The interface, how you talk to the field. You're already communicating with the field every second. The question is, are you doing it intentionally? There are three primary languages the field understands: frequency, your emotional baseline; imagery, your mental visualization; repetition, the consistency of your signal. If you're emotionally resonating with lack, even if you say affirmations like, "I'm abundant," the field responds to the emotion, not the words. If your imagination shows you worst-case scenarios all day, the field interprets that as a preferred outcome. And if you waver back and forth between hope and fear, the signal becomes static. And the result? No clear manifestation. Clarity plus emotion plus repetition equals command input to the field. Why most people stay disconnected? Here's the hard truth. Most people never connect to the quantum field intentionally. They live on autopilot. They react. They repeat patterns. They doubt. They hope. They fear. All while unknowingly sending scrambled signals into the field, then wondering why nothing changes. They don't realize that the quantum field isn't something you beg. It's something you interface with, like an operating system. It doesn't care about your story. It runs the program you input. That's why changing your energy is not optional if you want a new outcome. The frequencies of emotion, a hidden spectrum. Every emotion has a frequency. Shame, guilt, and apathy sit at the lowest end of the scale. Fear and anger are mid-level. Love, joy, gratitude, and peace vibrate the highest. Dr. David Hawkins mapped this out in his book, Power versus Force. Now here's the twist. The field doesn't judge these emotions. It just matches your environment to the dominant frequency you're broadcasting. So if you constantly dwell in fear, you pull in more reasons to be afraid. If you cultivate joy, not faked, but real, you begin pulling in experiences that match that joy. It's not karma. It's not magic. It's the physics of vibration. Science check why this isn't woo. Skeptics often tune out when they hear energy and vibration. But let's bring it back to the lab. 1. Double slit experiment. Particles behave like waves until observed. Observation creates form. 2. Quantum entanglement. Two particles can be connected across vast distances, reacting simultaneously, suggests non-local consciousness. 3. Heisenberg uncertainty principle. You can know a particle's location or speed, not both. Why? Because the observer affects the observed. These aren't spiritual theories. They're physics, and they all suggest the same thing. The universe is a participatory system. You are not a spectator. You are a collaborator. The observer effect, and why it's everything. Here's where it gets real. In quantum mechanics, the act of observation changes the observed. That means your focus, your attention, is not passive. It's creative. Whatever you focus on gets energy. Whatever you obsess over begins to form. Whatever you consistently believe becomes real. So the question isn't, why is my life this way? The question is, what have I been consistently observing, internally? Your inner attention becomes the blueprint for your outer world, and the field never makes mistakes. Manifestation is not magic, it's precision. We need to break a myth. Manifestation is not about vision boards and crystals, although if those help, use them. It's about precision. Precision of thought, precision of feeling, precision of identity. If you can align those three, the field responds. Here's what alignment looks like. You think, I am worthy. You feel joy, peace, anticipation. You act from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Now your mind, body, and energy are saying the same thing, and the field listens. That's when the unexpected text comes. The opportunity shows up. The impossible becomes probable. Why it's so hard to stay in frequency. Let's be honest, this is simple, but not easy, because the field doesn't just respond to what you do once. It responds to your dominant signal, and most people's signal is sabotaged by unhealed trauma, limiting beliefs, emotional addiction to stress, environmental triggers, mental overthinking. That's why the real work is inner calibration, not more effort, not more hustle, but more awareness, more stillness, more self-honesty. The field is always listening, so be intentional. You are always broadcasting, even when you're asleep, even when you're distracted, even when you think nothing is happening. The field never shuts off, so you have two choices. 1. Let your subconscious run the show, projecting old beliefs, old wounds, old limitations. 2. Reclaim the signal and start sending something new. It doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. Start small. Spend 10 minutes a day in gratitude. Visualize the reality you want with feeling. Catch yourself when you spiral and gently shift. These aren't small things. They're energetic commands to the field, and the field is listening. Story break. Real people, real transformation. Let's break the theory with a story. I once worked with a content creator who was stuck at 3,000 subscribers for over a year. Same content, same effort, no growth. When we looked deeper, her internal story was, why would anyone listen to me? I'm not interesting. Even though her actions were aligned, her frequency was not. She was broadcasting unworthiness and getting it back. We reprogrammed the inner signal, daily visualization, identity shift, gratitude practice, emotion before outcome. Within 3 months, 15,000 subscribers, viral clips, brand offers, same work ethic, new signal. The field always responds, but only to your truth. Final message. You already have the interface. You don't need special tools. You don't need to be spiritual. You already have the interface. Your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, your attention. The field is waiting, not for you to be perfect, but for you to be aligned. In part 3, we'll talk about your subconscious mind, the real operating system behind your thoughts, and how to rewire it to work with the field instead of against it. But for now, ask yourself, what frequency have I been living in? And more importantly, what signal will I send next? Comment below, I'm ready to connect. Because from this point forward, reality is no longer accidental. It's intentional, and you're the interface. Part 3, the subconscious, your silent programmer. It's not what you think. It's what you believe when you're not thinking. Have you ever promised yourself something? I'm going to eat better. I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to finally leave this toxic relationship. And then you didn't. Not because you're lazy or weak or incapable, but because something deeper, something you couldn't quite name, seemed to pull you back to the old behavior. That something is not your willpower. It's your subconscious mind. And until you understand how it works, you'll keep fighting battles you can't win because you're not fighting the right enemy. What is the subconscious, really? Let's break this down. Your mind has two operating systems. Conscious mind, the part of you watching this video. Rational, logical, aware. Subconscious mind, the part that's running the show, quietly, automatically, without asking for your opinion. And here's the catch. Your conscious mind only controls about 5% of your behavior. The subconscious, 95%. Let that sink in. That means almost everything you do, your thoughts, your habits, your emotional reactions, are not actually conscious choices. They're patterns, programs, scripts running in the background, and most of them installed before you could even spell your name. The programming years, 0 to 7, the theta window. In the first 7 years of life, your brain functions primarily in a theta wave state. This is the same state we access during deep hypnosis. In theta, the critical filter, the part of the brain that questions, judges, and analyzes, is not online yet. So whatever you're told, whatever you observe, whatever you feel, goes straight into the subconscious. Think about what that means. If your parents told you, money is hard to come by, that became part of your internal operating system. If you saw love tied to pain, abandonment, or chaos, that became your model of relationships. If you felt unseen, unheard, or unworthy, that became your default identity. No proof required, no conscious approval needed, just absorbed, embedded, activated for the rest of your life, unless you change it. The subconscious doesn't speak English. It speaks code. Here's where most people get it wrong. They try to talk their way into transformation. They say things like, I deserve better. I want success. I am abundant. But the subconscious isn't listening to your words. It's watching your emotions, your patterns, your vibrations. It doesn't understand someday. It understands now. That's why affirmations don't work unless you feel them. That's why visualization without emotion is just mental wallpaper. To reprogram the subconscious, you need to speak its language. Imagery, repetition, emotion, symbolism, environment, this is the code. This is how you install new beliefs and uninstall old ones. The inner conflict, conscious intention versus subconscious programming. Here's the real reason most people struggle with manifestation. They have conflicting programs. The conscious mind says, I want to be wealthy. The subconscious says, you don't deserve it. The conscious mind says, I'm ready for love. The subconscious says, it's not safe to be vulnerable. And guess who wins? The subconscious, every time. Because it's faster, it's older, and it's automatic. This is why self-sabotage happens. It's not that you don't want better. It's that your system is running code designed for survival, not expansion. And unless you update that code, you'll always revert back to the old set point. Emotional loops. How the subconscious keeps you in place. Your subconscious is not evil. It's protective. Its job is to keep you safe. And its definition of safe is familiar, even if that means suffering. So if chaos was normal growing up, calm feels suspicious. If rejection was familiar, acceptance feels overwhelming. If you were taught to expect struggle, ease will feel wrong. You'll unconsciously recreate what feels emotionally familiar, even if you consciously hate it. That's why your life loops. That's why certain emotions never seem to go away. You're not broken, you're running a loop. And once you see the pattern, you can interrupt it. Spotting the program, awareness is step one. Here's how to begin. Start watching yourself like a scientist. What triggers you the most emotionally? What beliefs are hiding underneath that reaction? What situations keep repeating in your life? What do you believe about yourself in moments of quiet? Patterns point to programs. You're not doing this to judge yourself, but to locate the script. Once you find it, you can change it. But if you keep reacting blindly, the program keeps running. Installing new beliefs, the science of reprogramming. So how do you change the subconscious? The key is bypassing the critical mind and speaking directly to the deeper system. Here are the most effective tools. 1. Repetition in theta state. Just before sleep and just after waking, your brain naturally drops into theta. This is prime time for affirmation work, visualization, and intention setting. Tip: create a 5-minute audio of your own voice saying present tense affirmations. Listen every night before bed, every morning upon waking. 2. Emotional imprinting. The subconscious remembers feeling more than facts. So when you visualize a new outcome, feel the emotion of it as if it's already done. This encodes the new identity. 3. Hypnotherapy and NLP guided hypnosis sessions can directly access and rewrite old programs. NLP techniques like anchoring and pattern interrupts are also powerful tools to remap responses. 4. Environmental repetition. Your surroundings matter. Visual cues, ambient music, consistent habits, all train your subconscious by association. Create an environment that reflects the reality you're stepping into. You're not faking it. You're signaling the shift. The power of identity shifts. Here's the most powerful reprogramming tool of all: identity. Your subconscious isn't loyal to your goals. It's loyal to your identity. If your identity is, I'm broke, you will sabotage wealth. If your identity is, I'm unlucky in love, you will find proof of that. So you must shift from, I want to be abundant. I am someone who naturally attracts abundance. I want confidence. I am confident even as I grow. The key word is, I am. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about becoming familiar with a new version of you until your subconscious accepts it as the default. Why this work feels uncomfortable and why that's good. Let's be real. This process can feel strange. When you first start saying, I love myself, your brain might scream, that's a lie. When you visualize success, your inner critic might say, who do you think you are? That's normal. That's the old program glitching. The discomfort is not a sign it's not working. It's a sign you're installing something new. Keep going. Eventually, the new belief becomes more familiar than the old one. And at that point, reality begins to shift. The inner child and the original programmer. At the center of all this is the inner child, the part of you that absorbed the programs, the part of you that still holds the pain, the part of you that just wants to feel safe and loved. You can't yell over that voice, you have to hold it. When you sit with the inner child through meditation, journaling, or therapy, you don't just fix something, you begin to reparent yourself. And in doing so, you rewrite the code at the root. The result? Not just a changed life, a healed foundation from which a new life can grow. Real-world story, the programmer awakens. Let me tell you about Aaron. Aaron was stuck in a cycle of financial chaos. He made money, lost it, made it, lost it again. He believed he had a money problem, but after some deep subconscious work, we uncovered the real story. When he was 6, his dad told him, people like us never get ahead. You better get used to working hard for scraps. That belief wasn't a passing comment. It became code. Once Aaron saw the program and did the inner work to release and replace it, his outer world changed within weeks. New clients, better offers, money that stayed. Not because of luck, because of alignment. Final word. Reprogramming is not a shortcut. It's the source code. If you remember nothing else, remember this. The subconscious is not your enemy. It's your most powerful ally, if you know how to work with it. Trying to change your life without reprogramming the subconscious is like trying to update your phone by tapping on the screen with no software update. Looks busy, feels productive, changes nothing. When you work with the subconscious, intentionally, lovingly, consistently, you don't just manifest new things. You become a new person. And that is the version of you the quantum field is waiting for. In part 4, We'll go deeper into how this all ties together. We'll explore how to step out of autopilot and consciously interface with the quantum field in real time, using frequency, emotion, and intention. But for now, ask yourself, what belief is running my life? And am I ready to change it? If the answer is yes, drop it in the comments. I'm rewriting the code because the programmer is you. Part 4. Rewriting reality. From autopilot to conscious creator. You are not stuck. You are simply unaware you're holding the pen. Opening scene. The real enemy, unconscious living. Let's start with a tough truth. Most people aren't living their lives. They're reliving them. Not because they want to, but because they're running on autopilot. A loop of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that were programmed years ago and never questioned again. Wake up, check phone, rush through morning, stress at work, feel anxious, scroll at night. Repeat. They call it life, but it's a loop, a script, a reality on repeat. Until one day something cracks, and you begin to wonder, is this really all there is? That question isn't the end. It's the beginning of you becoming a conscious creator. Why awareness is the most underrated superpower. People want hacks. They want shortcuts. They want the secret to success, love, wealth, peace. But the real secret? Awareness. It sounds simple, but it's radical. Why? Because when you become truly aware, you can no longer lie to yourself. You can no longer run the same script and pretend you don't know why it hurts. Awareness is the moment the autopilot shuts off and you take the wheel. It's uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar, but it's freedom. The watcher within, becoming the observer. Here's where the shift begins. You must become what ancient mystics and modern neuroscientists both agree is the gateway to transformation. The observer, not the one who reacts, the one who watches. When you observe your thoughts without judgment, you create space. And in that space, you're no longer your programming. You're no longer your past. You're no longer the story. You're just present. And in the present, all creation begins. Autopilot loops, the matrix of the mind. Let's talk about the loops. Have you ever noticed? You always attract the same kind of partner. Even if they look different on the surface, you always hit the same financial ceiling, no matter how hard you try. You always sabotage success just when things get good. That's not coincidence. That's a loop, a neurological, emotional, and energetic pattern playing out again and again until it's interrupted. This is why willpower fails, because it tries to fight a loop instead of changing the code that created it. Breaking the loop, the 3-step pattern interrupt. Want to break the cycle? Here's the formula. Step 1, pause the pattern. When you feel triggered, reactive, or emotional, stop. Just pause. Don't fight. Don't judge. This is where awareness creates space. Step 2, observe the script. Ask yourself, what am I thinking? What emotion is this triggering? Where have I felt this before? You're not trying to fix it yet. Just see it, name it, label it, witness it. Step 3, choose differently. Once you create space, you have power. Choose a new response, even something small, a deep breath, a kind word, a redirect. That moment, the shift, is where reality rewrites itself. Rewiring the brain, neuroplasticity, and conscious choice. Every time you make a new choice, you create a new neural pathway. This isn't woo, it's neuroscience. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on what you think, feel, and do. This is called neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to adapt and change. But here's the catch. The brain doesn't rewire through big dramatic changes. It rewires through consistent micro-choices. Every time you choose calm over chaos, gratitude over fear, love over shame, you're not just feeling better. You're rewiring your brain. You're teaching your system. This is the new normal. And when that new normal becomes familiar, the external world shifts to reflect it. How the quantum field responds to new identity. Remember in part 2, the quantum field doesn't respond to your wishes, it responds to your signal. So when you shift your internal state, even slightly, you begin broadcasting a new frequency. Think of your life like a song. When your emotional state plays a new melody, the universe, the field, begins composing new chords to harmonize with it. But it only responds to what's consistent. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be in practice. The daily interface, becoming the creator. Each day, here's how to begin installing the creator identity. 1. Morning calibration. Before you check your phone, check your frequency. What am I choosing to feel today? Who am I choosing to be? What reality am I tuning into? This isn't positive thinking, it's tuning your signal. 2. Emotional rehearsal visualization is powerful, but what makes it work is emotion. Don't just see the outcome, feel it, live in it, let it light you up. When you emotionally rehearse your future self, you're not just imagining, you're installing. 3. Identity anchoring. Throughout the day, ask yourself, what would my highest self do here? What would the future version of me choose now? This builds the habit of identity-based decision-making, and identity is everything. Letting go of the old story. Now here's the hard part. To step into a new reality, you must let go of the old one. That means releasing old roles, the victim, the underdog, the black sheep. Old stories, I always mess it up. Nothing ever works for me. Old emotions, resentment, regret, guilt. Letting go doesn't mean it didn't happen. It means it no longer defines you. The question is no longer, why did this happen to me? It becomes, who am I becoming because of it? That shift changes everything. Resistance, rewiring in progress. You'll feel resistance. That's normal. The ego wants to stay the same. The subconscious craves the familiar. The body is addicted to old emotional patterns. But resistance doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing it right. It means the system is updating. The loop is glitching. The autopilot is short-circuiting. Don't run from the discomfort. Sit with it. Breathe into it. This is transformation. Real-world story, from reaction to creator. Let me tell you about Tara. Tara was always stuck in toxic relationships. Different faces, same patterns. One day she realized, the common denominator is me. Instead of blaming or analyzing endlessly, she made a shift. Daily journaling from her future self meditation to observe, not suppress, emotions. Practicing new responses even when it felt fake. Within 90 days, she ended the old pattern. Not by chasing love, but by becoming the version of herself who no longer vibrated at the frequency of chaos. Love didn't save her. She saved her own frequency. You don't have to earn a new reality, you align with it. Here's something no one tells you. You don't have to deserve the life you want. You just have to align with it. The quantum field doesn't check your resume. It checks your resonance. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are consistently. So the work is not in chasing, it's in becoming. And when you become the version of you who's already living that life becomes inevitable. Final word, the creator has woken up. You've already taken the first step. You've questioned the loop. You've interrupted the program. You've begun remembering who you really are. Now every moment is a choice. React or create. Repeat the old or install the new. Survive or consciously live. This is what it means to be a conscious creator. Not someone who has it all figured out, but someone who is aware, present, and powerful. Moment to moment. You are no longer a victim of reality. You are the author. In part 5, we'll go even deeper. We'll explore how to align the mind and heart, how to access the magnetic power of emotion, and how to step fully into the energetic frequency of your desired timeline. But for now, drop this in the comments. I choose to create because you've left the loop. Now it's time to build the new world. Part 5. Aligning heart, mind, and frequency. The gateway to the quantum shift. What you think creates direction. What you feel creates reality. Opening scene, the final unlock. You've done the work. You've questioned the matrix. You've identified the loop. You've reprogrammed your subconscious. You've taken back the pen, but there's one final piece. And without it, the quantum field stays silent. That piece is your heart. Because while the mind gives direction, it's the heart that gives charge. This is the gateway to the shift. This is where you stop thinking about change and become the frequency that draws it in. Thoughts are electric, emotions are magnetic. Science has proven something ancient wisdom always knew. Your thoughts are electrical. They generate energy signals in the brain. Your emotions are magnetic. They send signals to the field, through the heart. Together, they create your electromagnetic signature. And that signature, that's what the universe responds to. Think of it like sending an email. Your mind writes the message. Your heart hits send. And unless both are working together, the field doesn't get your order. Why the heart is 60 times more powerful than the brain. According to the Heart Math Institute, the heart's magnetic field is up to 60 times more powerful than the brain's. Let that sink in. All those affirmations, all those visualizations, they don't stick unless the heart's involved. Because it's not enough to think, I am abundant. You have to feel abundant. You have to feel the joy, the peace, the gratitude before the evidence shows up. That's not lying. That's alignment. And the field doesn't respond to what's real. It responds to what's felt as real. The gap most people miss, emotional incongruence. Here's where people get stuck. They do the vision boards, they journal, they say the mantras, but deep down they feel doubt, fear, unworthiness, impatience. And those emotions cancel out the signal. Why? Because the field doesn't manifest what you want. It mirrors what you consistently feel. So if you want a new reality, you can't wait for it to come before you feel the way you want to feel. You must feel it now, as if it's already here. Emotional signature equals frequency access is key. Every future reality exists right now as potential in the quantum field. Think of them like radio stations. Each station plays a different version of your life. One where you're broke and struggling. One where you're thriving in love and purpose. One where you're free, powerful, whole. They're all available, but you can only tune into one at a time. And the dial? Your emotional signature. The emotion you practice consistently determines the frequency you live in. Shift the feeling, shift the frequency, shift the timeline. The inner alchemy practice. How to tune in. So how do you align heart and mind? Here's the quantum alignment practice. Something I teach every client. Step 1. Stillness. Find a quiet space. Sit. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Slow down. You must quiet the noise of the outer world to access the signal of the inner one. Step 2. Intention. Ask yourself, what do I want to experience? Who do I choose to be today? Clarity is power. Vagueness kills frequency. Step 3. Visualization. Imagine the version of your life where it's already done. Not like a movie you're watching, like a memory you're remembering. See the details. Feel the textures. Involve your senses. Step 4. Embodiment. Now shift into feeling. What emotions would this version of you feel? Confidence, joy, love, freedom? Call those feelings in now and anchor them in your body. Smile, cry, breathe it in. You're not hoping, you're broadcasting. Step 5. Gratitude. Seal the practice with gratitude. Not for what's coming, but for what's already here. Because in the quantum field, time doesn't matter. Emotion creates immediacy. You're thanking the universe for a delivery that's already on its way. The coherence effect. When heart and brain sync. When your heart and mind are aligned, a state called coherence occurs. In coherence, your brainwaves smooth out, your nervous system calms, your immune system strengthens, and your signal to the field becomes crystal clear in coherence. There's mixed signals, there's delayed manifestation, coherence, clear signal, there's accelerated reality shift. This is not spiritual fluff. It's biological physics. You were built to broadcast miracles. You just forgot how to tune in. The quantum reversal. Be it first. Here's the paradox that creates quantum results. You must be it before you see it. You don't wait for love to feel love. You feel love, and love appears. You don't wait for money to feel abundant. You feel abundant, and money flows. This reverses everything you were taught. Old model: have, do, be, get the thing, do the work, then feel good. Quantum model: be, do, have, feel good, act from alignment, receive the thing. This is the secret code of alignment. Why most people give up, and how to stay tuned. People say, this doesn't work when they don't see results in 3 days. But that's like planting a seed, yelling at it to grow, then giving up and blaming the soil. Frequency is cumulative, and the field listens to consistency, not intensity. So how do you stay in alignment when the bank account says otherwise? The relationship isn't here yet? The world keeps testing you? Answer: emotional sovereignty. Your external reality doesn't determine your inner state. Your inner state creates your external reality. Stay the signal. The mirror will follow. Real story. Heart coherence. Real world shift. Meet Leo. Leo had been stuck in cycles of rejection and heartbreak. He tried all the mindset hacks. Nothing stuck. Then he discovered heart coherence. He practiced 5 minutes a day, breathing through the heart, visualizing love, feeling worthy even when he felt alone. In 6 weeks, his energy changed. People started responding to him differently. He stopped attracting chaos. He didn't find love. He became it. And a month later, the most aligned relationship of his life showed up. Not because he chased it, but because he matched it. This is not manifestation. This is reclamation. Let's stop calling this manifestation. That word still suggests you're trying to get something out there. What you're really doing is reclaiming your creative power. You're not pulling things in from the void. You're remembering that everything is already here, and you're simply aligning with the version of you who has it. This is quantum living. It's not magic, it's mastery. Final transmission. This is the beginning, not the end. You've now unlocked it all. The illusion of external reality, the quantum field, the subconscious code, the creator within, and the final gateway, emotional frequency. This is the work of a lifetime. But it starts with a moment where you no longer wait for reality to shift. You become the shift. That moment is now. So ask yourself, what am I ready to feel now, regardless of what the world says? That answer will align you with the timeline you've always belonged to. And when you feel it, life has no choice but to reflect it. If you felt this in your soul, drop this in the comments. I am the frequency. Then go back, rewatch, rewire, reinstall. Because this isn't just a video, it's an activation. And you're not chasing your dream reality anymore. You're vibrating at its level. See you on the next timeline, creator.